Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today in the second session of this webinar. We're delighted to have you join us as we introduce our latest innovation, HeiQ Synbio Dry, a technology powered by probiotics. My name is Rita Brandão and I'm the Marketing Communications Manager here at HeiQ, and I'll be your host for today's session. It's also my pleasure to introduce my co-host, Philippe Guequier, HeiQ's Chief Marketing Officer, who will share more about HeiQ Synbio Dry, and Pedro Santos, our Portugal Microbiology Lab Manager, who will give us an overview on how symbiotic platform testing works.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, both. At HeiQ, our mission has always been to push the boundaries of what's possible in textiles. And today we're proud to share how we are cracking new levels of performance, sustainability, and functionality to achieve this goal. Once again, we've created a new patent-pending technology, HeiQ Synbio Dry, that is able to deliver quick drying and superior moisture management to your textiles, all powered by probiotics. At the end of the session, we'll open the floor for a live Q&A, so you can submit your questions in the Q&A box below, and feel free to share any doubts that you might have about the technology we are presenting. If we are unable to get to all of your questions, we will definitely reach out after with the answers. This session will be recorded and shared with you all afterwards as well, so you can rewatch and share with your team. Thank you once again for joining us today. Okay, so to start, as some of you or most of you recognize by now, HeiQ aims to always be ahead of the curve with purposeful innovations and projects. HeiQ is built on genuine innovation with a clear mission of improving the billions of lives through collaboration and a deep understanding of market needs. Across our business units, as well as our ventures, innovation and differentiation are always at the core. The global structure that powers what we do, spanning from assets, distributors, offices, teams, gives us a unique advantage. It enables us to navigate a complex global challenge, adapt to constant market shifts, and respond quickly to the evolving customer needs. As you can see from the map here, we were able to build an agile global footprint that's ready at a moment's notice to help onboard technologies at partner mills, making sure that every project we take on is set for future long-term success. Thanks to our diversified production base, both in the US and Switzerland, we can navigate tariff complexities and pass the benefits of this flexibility on to our customers, removing unnecessary burdens. As you can see on the map, our main offices are based in the US, Portugal, Switzerland, Germany, and China, and are supported by distributors and team members that are also spread across the globe. And because HeiQ was born in Switzerland, we believe sustainability is a part of our DNA. We approach it in three simple ways. Firstly, in the development of our technologies and formulations. So when we are creating new products, like the product we are introducing today, we are considering how the formulation is sustainable and how we can make it as bio-based as possible. Secondly, in how those technologies are applied to the textile. And thirdly, how it is used as the final product with the consumer. And these three pillars are definitely a part of the R&D process we follow. With this in mind, our business unit, Advanced Materials, keeps developing textile technologies that are constantly evolving towards a more sustainable solution, like I said. And we're especially proud of our biotechnology platform that is at the heart of our daily work. As you know, or if maybe you may recognize, that we already have two technologies that are under the probiotic symbiotic platform that we have within the biotechnology world that are both allergen tech and skincare, and Synbio Dry is a third piece from that puzzle and that project. This new launch is yet another reflection of our commitment to a more sustainable future, and my colleague Philippe Guequier will now introduce the technology to you.
Thank you, Rita, and thank you all for attending. My name is Philip. I'm the CMO at HeiQ, Advanced Materials, and myself and Pedro will explain you how probiotics can be used for a quick dry function for better moisture management. And that is part of our focus innovation. Just see if I have the control. Yes, I do. On biotechnology. That's innovation focus that we have. and that sets us apart in the competitive environment. This has started back in 21 when HeiQ acquired the Belgian biotech company HeiQ Crizal, and then got access to a biotech platform run by Dr. Robin Temmerman, who has helped us to develop this platform for textile applications. HeiQ Crizal in Belgium have 30 years of experience working with probiotics. They use it for products in air purification, in cars, in homes, in offices. They use it for probiotic water treatment to keep open water clean, also to keep industrial installations that use water free of biofilm. They use it for probiotic cleaning, for probiotic laundry, and this long experience of 30 years is now used by our textile innovation hub in Portugal to develop technologies for textile applications. Why do we believe that the future of textile enhancement is in biotechnology? Well, we see that regulations and standards are forcing the industry to take synthetic hazardous materials out of the market. They are being replaced, potentially being replaced by biotechnology, which is better for the environment, obviously, less toxic, improves the quality of effluent in many ways. It is the more sustainable choice, the more sustainable way going forward, building a sustainable future. And these biotechnologies, these products tend to be more safe in the mill for workers that use them in the application, but also safer for consumers who are wearing or who are using them, who are using the final products. Biodegradability is an important factor. Our technologies, our bio-based technologies, go back to nature at the end of their life. They are not accumulating in the environment. Definitely an important aspect of in the textile industry that is being looked at. And what we have learned that these biocomponents, these natural components, it's a very big new playfield that we discover for targeted functionality. So we are able to functionalize these natural ingredients. We will talk about them later on. Functionalize them to do exactly what we want them to do, to have a target functionality that works super well, many times better than their synthetic equivalents. Biotechnology is also cost efficient when scaled. It definitely can compete with synthetic chemistry. And what we have learned in the technologies that we have developed so far with the allergen tech, with skincare, is that we can make them very durable, long-lasting, which is also helping on the cost side. So a lot of reasons to focus on biotechnology. I think it's fair to say, to comment that at HeiQ we are a little bit obsessed with it because we see the benefit and we see the potential in performance and in sustainable effects. So today we're going to talk about HeiQ Synbio Dry, which is one example of these tech developments. Synbiotic means the combined use of probiotics and prebiotics. Probiotics are beneficial bacteria, good bacteria. Prebiotics is food for good bacteria. So, and when you use these two combined, the technology is called Synbiotic, and this is also what you find in the name of the technology that we are presenting today. What is the issue that we are trying to solve here? Well, you probably know these images of athletes that are doing their job in a soaking wet shirt, even after 10 minutes of play, which is annoying and which may have negative effects on their performance. Not only athletes, professional athletes, but also amateur sports is suffering from damp, sticky clothes, when they are doing their workout. And many countries in the world have a hot and humid climate, and keeping your workwear or your leisure wear, your clothes, dry and comfortable is always a challenge in these circumstances. The body is using sweat for thermoregulation. So that's something that is steered by the brain. So what we need is clothes that have a very high dry rate, so that are drying very quickly, in order to keep ourselves comfortable, in order to keep the clothes dry or the bed sheets dry and comfortable in those circumstances. So that is the function of quick dry, making sure that the sweat is absorbed by the textile, and then in the next step is evaporated from the textile to the open air. The solution that we are going to present to you today goes beyond wicking. Every textile expert knows that when you want to evaporate humidity, the key is wicking, the wicking capacity of the textile, making sure that the humidity is spreading over a large surface, because that is going to boost the evaporation. Well, today we are adding a new dimension to that, because we are going to also work on the water. We are going to make sure that the humidity itself is evaporating quicker, resulting in quick dry, in a much better result on the drying. The technology is patent pending. We have submitted the patent recently. What you can expect is a quick dry function. We will later see on the testing that the results are quite impressive. And you can also expect an improvement on the overall moisture management of the textiles that you find both in the apparel side or in the home textiles space. Now, as to the mode of action, how does it work? The picture that you see here is a microscopic picture that is showing the probiotics on the fiber. So you can see that they are really, in very close contact, sticky to the fibers. This is prebiotics, probiotics that have been applied on the textile. As I mentioned before, the prebiotics is food for the probiotics. The probiotics have a certain function. And in this case, the function is that they produce biosurfactants. So just by being there, they produce particles called biosurfactants that have a very interesting action in this technology. They change the surface tension of water. If you look on the graph here, on the picture here, you see that surface tension of water is very high, allowing a paperclip to rest on the water surface, allowing mosquitoes to land on water surface. So you see that the connections of the molecules on the surface of the water are very strong. So this is preventing the water from evaporating. So what our technology is doing, what our biosurfactants are doing, they break this strong cohesion between the molecules on the surface, allowing these water molecules to evaporate much quicker. So this is the heart of the technology. This is the invention. This is the development that was done. So changing the surface tension of water, allowing the water to escape, to evaporate much faster. If we then simplify the mode of action a little bit, we have the probiotics who are producing these biosurfactants by their nature, and that's what they do. These biosurfactants are destroying the strong bonds between the water molecules, allowing the water molecules to evaporate. Okay, so this is the extra dimension that we add to the textiles, allowing them to dry faster and to have much better moisture management capacities. What is the result? Very impressive results, up to 60% shorter dry times for apparel, for bed sheets, for pillow fabrics, and up to 100% improvement of the overall moisture management capacity. That's a test that is run by the industry. So very impressive results on these fabrics. The one with moisture management even allows you to classify the textile as a fast absorbing and quick dry fabric. So really good results. On the technical side, technical profile, we apply Synbio Dry on synthetics. We are also in the development of applying it on cellulosics, like cotton, where we need a booster, HeiQ Synbio, Hydro BSD. Why do we need a booster? Well, it's commonly known that cellulosics tend to absorb water rather than to evaporate it. So where on synthetic surfaces, Synbio Dry finds it easy to reach these high numbers of evaporation, with cellulosics, we need this booster to help find the same results. The application is done in padding with a concentration of 3 to 5%. And when we apply it on cellulosics, we add the booster, 2% of the booster. The end use is all kinds of apparel, obviously sportswear, workwear, leisure wear, but also the sleep environment with bedding items, bed sheets, pillow fabrics, mattress sticking, those kind of products. This is a non-ionic technology, which makes it compatible with other technologies. And the chemical basis, yeah, it's a bioemulsion, as mentioned, bio-based technology that contains symbiotics, probiotics, and prebiotics. It can be combined with other HeiQ technologies, such as allergen tech, mint, skincare, smart temp, all these combinations are possible. The technology has been tested on the skin, on the human skin. There is no irritation there, so it's a skin-friendly product that can be washed 20 times in home laundry. We have done the testings that show higher numbers as well. So there it's also the substrate, the fabric that has an impact. The technology is readily biodegradable, which has also been certified. So the product goes back to nature at end of life. And there is also a potential for energy saving in the mill. As we have high dry numbers, quick dry performance, that will also show in the mill when the textile needs to be dried. This will also show at home when you put the garment in the tumble dryer. It's going to dry much faster and require less energy to get it fully dry. So excellent value for money in this technology, very good performance in quick dry and moisture management at a competitive price. And then I will hand over to my colleague who is going to explain how the Synbio Dry can be tested. Pedro is our expert in microbiology and will take over from here. The floor is yours, Pedro.
Thank you, Philip. Hello, everyone. So let's move on how can we test if HeiQ Synbio Dry is really validated on your treated article. Let me see if this is moving first. Yes, it is. So there are 5 major standards that are used to assess the quick dry and moisture management of our treated article. The 2 top ones, WATCC 197 and 79, are pretty common. Any laboratory is aware of their existence and how to perform. The first one is a simple vertical wicking test in which you see how the water is moving on your fabric on a vertical manner, the distance that it can travel throughout the fabric during a specified time, most of the time 10 minutes, but there are also brands that require 30 minutes. And WATCC 79 is a drop test. As the name suggests, you just place a drop of water on top of your sample, and you measure how quickly you can have your water absorbed by the fabric. The more hydrophilic characteristics of your textile, the more quicker it will absorb the water. Then we have 3 different standards that are more specific to really evaluate the quick dry and the moisture management. You have WATC to 201, that's a hot output method to assess the drying rate, and WATCC 195 for the moisture management, also known as the MMT test. Apologies. Then there is also the GB standard, that's a Chinese standard. That is basically the combination of the two previously mentioned ones. But I would say that it has really to do with the market that you are aiming for. If it is, if the brands with whom you are working with are from the United States, they probably will request the WATCC. If you are working with the brands from China, from Asia, they probably will request the GB. And we did the validation with the, as I said, with the drying rate. I will not go into much detail so you don't snooze out, but this is basically you place your sample with a known amount of water on top of a hot plate, as the name suggests, and you will see using a sensor how quickly water can be dried out from the fabric in milliliters per hour. The validation that we did in the lab was using a polyester and a polyester blend. Notice that we are using, I would say, pretty thick fabrics with 156 GSMs and 240 GSM, and we are subjecting to 20 washes. Although most of the time these kind of standards will only ask about 5 washes, some brands will say to only assess after 3 washes or 5 washes, but we did to 20 washes to really see how far we can go. As you can see from both graphs, there is an improvement, of course, up to 60% after before washing, and after washing, it can go up to 50%. Let's put it in practical terms. On the end user, if a piece of clothing would take 1 hour to dry on the drying machine, with the Synbio Dry treated article, it will take, I would say, less than 30 minutes, 20 minutes to dry out. So it really emphasizes the cost-saving properties of this product. As in regards to the WATCC 195, so we had a polyamide elastane blend. What you can see is this result from both the reference sample and the treated with Synbio Dry on the right side. There are several parameters, and these parameters combined, those are the ones that will give the overall moisture management score, the OMMC score. If you notice, on the reference sample, there is a complete discrepancy between the back and the face side on the wetting time. Also, you can see the max wetted radius, it's pretty small. What this means is that the fabric may be able to absorb water, is true, but what you will see is that on the area where the droplet is absorbed, the water practically doesn't spread. This means that your article does not have so much hydrophilic properties. If you also notice on the spreading speed, it takes 0.61 millimeters per second. It's a pretty low and slow movement of water throughout your fabric. And I would say the most important parameter to look at is the one-way transport index. To put it on practical terms, if it's a negative value, it means that the water is absorbed by the fabric, but afterwards goes down to the skin. If it is a positive value, it means it's absorbed to the fabric, moves through capillary to the outside of the skin, to the outside of the fabric in contact with the atmosphere. So looking at the reference sample, you can see this one-way transport is minus 370. It's very bad, to put it on practical terms. If we compare it with the same sample treated with Synbio Dry, you see a complete shift on these parameters. You see that the wetting time between the back and the face is practically the same. You see that the wetted radius, so the area that is through which the water is absorbed and moves, it's much higher. It's 25 millimeters against 5 millimeters. And you also can see that the one-way transport index is a positive value, is 28. In short, and not to take it too much time, it means that your fabric moves from a classification from a fast-absorbing and slow-drying fabric to a fast-absorbing and fast-drying fabric. We also did some tests with a cellulosic woven to see if this could be also applied with in our cellulosic fabrics. And what you can see is that the values between the reference and the treated article are pretty similar because, let's face it, cotton is a very absorbing material that can absorb water quickly. But what you see in particularly is that the one-way transport index, so the capability to move from the inside to the outside, it's only positive on the treated sample with Synbio Dry and the booster. This means that we can also achieve these results on a cotton woven. So I will move on my presentation now to Philip, so he can explain when Synbio Dry can be used. Thank you, Philip.
Thank you, Pedro. And congratulations to the development team in Portugal. This is really amazing. I think this is the only technology that uses probiotics for a quick dry function. And then with these impressive results, really a game changer, if you ask me. Where can it be used? Yes, the application areas, as earlier mentioned, all textiles that benefit from this quick dry function and from moisture management, performance apparel, outdoor apparel, workwear, leisure wear, base layers, but also the whole sleep environment, bed sheets, pillow fabrics, duvet fabrics, mattress sticking. They all benefit from the fact that textile becomes much drier again, quicker. What in summary, the key benefits is, of course, the technical performance, the fact that the fabrics dry much quicker, much faster in large quantities of water, enabling the textile to soak up the sweat from the skin and then give it off to the ambient air. The second benefit, next to performance, is definitely the sustainability aspect of it. Bio-based materials, long-lasting, resisting 20 home laundries, and having these, keeping these excellent results. So the sustainability profile for companies, customers that are into sustainable development, and I believe many of you are, and you have a sustainability scorecard, well, you will get excellent points, excellent scores with this technology, because it's a non-petrochemical technology that is going to improve the quality of effluents in the mills dramatically. The technology, the bio-based ingredients go back to nature at end of life, so there's that aspect as well. We are using bio-based materials. We are using renewable materials that are available in large quantities across the globe. Natural derived, so that's also why we are certified USDA bio-preferred with this technology that we are Blue Sign approved. We are ZDHC approved. And also the biodegradability of the technology has been certified, so those documents are available for customers who would be interested to have them. So truly an impressive very new technology that combines performance, unseen performance, I would say, with a very strong sustainable profile. So no reason not to engage with this technology. So I think we are ready for some questions and answers. Rita?
Thank you very much, Philip and Pedro, for showing us how HeiQ Synbio Dry works and all the testing process. I'm sure everyone was very curious as well as it relates with other technology or other probiotic technologies as well. So let's jump into the Q&A part of this webinar. Please, if you haven't already, feel free to submit your questions in the Q&A section. As mentioned previously, if we don't have enough time to reach all of the questions, we will get back to you afterwards. So the first question we have is, would another solution to dispersing the water be by using a fine denier yarn, or as that offers a greater surface area for that water to evaporate from?
Yeah, as we mentioned, see the techniques that we are using, that we know so far to improve evaporation, is indeed to make sure that the water is wicking, is transported over the surface of the textile, because we know that the larger the surface that the water is on, quicker the evaporation will happen. That's the old technique, right, that is used to evaporate humidity. What we are now adding is that we work on the water as well. So the sweat, we are working on the molecules of the water, allowing them to evaporate quicker. So it's a combination of, let's say, the old technology, wicking and evaporation, thanks to larger surface, with the new invention, the biosurfactants that do the job, that reduce the surface tension of water, allowing the water to evaporate much quicker, 60% quicker than untreated or with the old treatment. Yeah.
Thank you, Philip. Can it be applied in exhaust as well, or only by padding?
So far the application is only by padding. We are still working on another application.
Okay. Is this Synbiotic Dry compatible with HeiQ Pure? Will it affect product hand feel?
Good question. To be frankly honest, it's not one of the technologies that we try to apply it with, because since we are working with living organisms, adding a pure agent could, you mean, unalive them.
For clarification, HeiQ Pure is an antimicrobial technology. So
exactly. Yeah, and we are using probiotics, so that would it's not an ideal combination. So we would not advise to do that.
Regarding the product hand feel, what do you have to say about it?
I would say there would be no issue, but I think the main issue that could happen is that, for instance, and now I will be very technical on this part. If you have an article that is treated with Synbio Dry, an article treated with Synbio Dry and PureTech, what you would see is a decrease on the performance, on the drying rate, and on the moisture management. Because even though probiotics are pretty resistant, they would be impacted somehow by the presence of this antimicrobial. So we would see a decrease on the performance.
But if the question is, if the question is, does HeiQ Synbio Dry have a negative impact on the hand feel in general? No, it doesn't. So there is no effect on hand feel.
And that's something we aim to achieve with all of our technologies, to make sure it doesn't change fabric composition and hand feel overall, just increases and improves its performance somehow. We have a question saying, I respect your longer wash testing, and I am very disappointed that some brands just ask for results with less than 10 washes. So here's the question: have you tested around 50 washes at 40 degrees Celsius? Is this something you're interested in evaluating?
We have so far.
Yeah, we have in the presentation, we have 20. A lot of the standards say 5. We have done tests at 30 washes. But of course, we are open to to customize the requests. If customers would like to test 40, we are happy to do that. As always, this largely depends also on the substrate, on the textile product that we are getting. So we have, what we are putting in this presentation is kind of the standard that is valid for most products. But we are always happy to have a look on the specific product that the customer has, and to see if wash durability can be extended.
Yes. And we have a question regarding the fabric construction and the solution percentage for fabric types. How much does it vary, considering, I assume, the test results that we've shown on the presentation?
Okay, if I'm not mistaken, the application was done, was done on a polyester mesh and polyamide mesh, and was woven on the cotton one. Regarding the application level, I would have to check on our logbooks, but it was between the 3 and 5%.
And does it vary a lot depending on the fabric construction? How much would you say it's necessary to be applied on a polyester versus a cotton?
Well, yeah, you go, Peter.
Sorry. So I think there wouldn't be much impact. I would say it's always good to have a consult with our HeiQ agents if you need any further.
Yeah. If you have a very open structure like a knit fabric, then of course evaporation is easier than if you have a very dense woven fabric. So the textile always has an impact on the evaporation capacity. The textile also has an impact on because what we first have to do is to take away the sweat from the skin, right? So the ability of the textile to do that is important. And then we have to move the humidity from the textile to the air, which is another ability. So yes, there is variation depending on the textile. And then that's why we customize the results. We always prefer to do the test on your garment, on your textile product, to have exact results and to make sure that the claims that you are making are valid for your product.
100%. We have a question regarding application areas. So do you feel like there's an advantage for this technology to be applied to mattress fabrics? And does it work as well in both natural versus synthetic yarns?
Mattress fabrics, definitely, because there, if you can make the fabric dry quicker, you can avoid all sorts of problems in mattresses that are known, odor, mildew, right? So all these things has a positive effect on that. It's easier on synthetics because synthetics do not absorb humidity. It's more difficult on cellulosics, on natural materials, because they tend to absorb the humidity and hold on to it. That's also why we have mentioned that we need a booster if we apply it on cellulosic fabrics. So yeah, synthetics is easy. Cellulosics is more difficult, but feasible.
Thank you. What is the percentage of bio-based content of Synbio Dry?
It's higher than 80%.
Okay. Can this chemical be added in dye bath during polyester dyeing?
Yes.
So I guess, can it be applied during the dye bath?
That is a very good question. I wouldn't like to say no because we always try to be as optimistic as possible. This is something that we have to work to study on, but I think this is ends up being a finishing process. I think it's feasible.
Okay. What is the bonding agent mechanism?
So that is something that, unfortunately, that is the part that I cannot divulge too much, since this is a patent pending product. So I'm very sorry on that.
Yeah, there is a cross linker in the recipe that we are not cannot disclose.
Okay. So you say that this reduces the surface tension of the liquid sweat. Can you please explain a bit more on how this improves the sweat evaporation?
Okay.
Yeah. So as you have seen in the picture, the surface tension of water, the molecules on the top, on the surface of the water, are really holding onto each other very much, right? So the tension there is quite high. That's why a mosquito can land on water. That's how you can put this paper clip on water, right? So the tension is very high. So what the biosurfactants are doing is reducing that connection between the water molecules. So they become more free. They are not so much connected to each other, and more free means that they find it much easier to evaporate, to escape from the surface. So yeah, that's, I think, the easiest way to explain.
Thank you. A person who asked, based on the 80% bio-based content that we just mentioned for HeiQ Synbio Dry, what is the nature of the other 20%?
Again, that's the same question and the same answer, right? We are not disclosing the full content of the recipe, partly because the patent has been submitted as pending, and also partly because we do not reveal all the kitchen's secrets for obvious reasons, right?
Of course. Does this technology leach chemicals onto the skin?
No. No, we did the patch test. We saw that there were no issues on the irritation. So
Yes, I think it's safe to say that all of our technologies are safe to be used close to skin. We know it is a textile, all the technologies that we have are textile performance technology, so we know most likely it will have contact with the skin, and we make sure that there's no potential negative impact for its application, correct?
Exactly.
Okay. Could you please elaborate a bit more about what are probiotics and how they can help with textile functionalities? Pedro, I think this question is more for you.
okay, very well. So probiotics are well known in our day-to-day basis. They are microorganisms that have beneficial effects on ourselves. We know them for centuries. They are used in food industry to make kombucha, to make yogurts, to make everything. And HeiQ, as Philip mentioned, after the know-how that we absorbed from Crizal, we try to transfer their know-how to the textile. That's why we have already products in the market like HeiQ Allergen Tech and HeiQ Skincare, in which we use the beneficial effects of probiotics to either promote the reduction of allergens on the household in case of Allergen Tech, or to improve the skin microbiome in case of skincare.
Lovely. As well, another question for you. This seems like a cleaner product. Does this have any beneficial effects on the effluents?
It can have yeah, as a side effect of using probiotic treated chemicals, because in the end we are using good bacteria that are available on the environment. So assessing the impact on the environment is basically none, because they will not actively kill the bacteria that are used on water treatment plants. They have the side effect that are extremely good, for instance, to promote nitrogen functions and the release of nitrogen that are used on water treatment plants. So yeah, there are a lot of beneficial side effects that we are not divulging directly, but they are indeed impacting on the environment and on society.
There is
Great,
one,
thank you.
if I may add, one benefit is that, as opposed to traditional synthetic chemistry, probiotics are growing, right? So they keep growing back as well after washing. And so in terms of durability, using probiotics is beneficial because there's no other chemistry that grows back after washing.
Yes, that's definitely very interesting from our probiotic technologies, and something that the customers usually really value as a side benefit as well. Philip, earlier in the presentation, you mentioned other products on the probiotic platform. Is this something HeiQ is focusing on in the future, and is there anything we can expect from it?
Yes, I think for the innovation team in Portugal, this is a whole new playground, right? So they discover not only prebiotics, different strains of probiotics, because now we have only used a few so far, mostly of the Bacillus family, but there's many other probiotics out there that may also be functionalized. We are now discovering postbiotics, meaning these are particles that are produced by probiotics, such as enzymes or biosurfactants, as what we have seen to date. So yes, this is definitely an interesting field of exploration and development and innovation. So there's plenty more to come in the next years, hopefully, replacing synthetics, replacing petrochemical chemistry with more of this bio-based material.
Great, thank you. Pedro, can HeiQ Synbio Dry be combined with other control technologies, for example, our HeiQ Mint?
Yes, it can. I think it's pretty
Clear
compatible.
answer.
Yeah. It's pretty compatible with most of our products, no issue.
Yes, as most of our technology outside of our probiotic platform, most of the technology can be mixed and used together. And it's definitely something that some customers have valued from our formulations. Can HeiQ Synbio Dry be a good addition to help with stain release functionality, Philip?
Yes, it's worth a try, definitely. What is important with stain release is also the substrate, the fabric, right? So we would have to have a look at the specific product, but we are always, happy to test that. It could definitely, because of the fact that the release is easier of the water content, it may very well be that this has a good effect on soil release as well.
Okay. And would you say there is a preferred type of fabric construction or fiber type to the application of HeiQ Synbio Dry?
Yeah, well, it's easy on synthetics to get the dry performance. It's a bit more challenging on cellulosic, on cotton, for instance, right? Because cotton has the tendency to absorb water and hold on to it. So there, it's a tougher challenge, but a challenge that we like to have. And we have learned that if we use a booster, some additional product with HeiQ Synbio Dry, that also on cellulosics we can have excellent results. But again, we have to look at the sample, the customized approach of the product that our customer is using.
Yes, and we always offer that testing just to make sure that the recipe is adequate to the fiber type and construction, and obviously the goals that each customer has. We have a question regarding the availability of the product in China and Taiwan, and to this, I'm just going to say that as we're launching it now, we're in the process of getting the launch quantities in the regional teams at the earliest possible timing. So please reach out to your regional key account manager to understand how you can kickstart the process of testing the technology and applying it to your products. Another question for Pedro. The 60% short dry times, does that apply to cotton substracts?
Actually, the 60% drying time was for the synthetic ones. For the cellulosic, we were on the 50%.
Okay. And for filled bedding items, can this be applied to the filling material? If yes, can it be added onto synthetic or natural fibers?
I believe right now, my immediate answer is yes to synthetic fibers. All other stuff, it's something that we really want to work on. I believe it's a goal in the next stage.
Okay. Philip, I think we mentioned this in the presentation, but we have a question regarding the durability of the technology.
Yep.
So maybe we can give a refresher.
Yeah, well, what we do, we help customers passing standards, right? So customers want to pass either the Chinese standard or the US standard or and that those standards are prescribing sometimes 5 home laundries, sometimes 20. So we test, what the customer wants to put on his label. We are confident that 20 home laundries is possible. That's why it's in the presentation. We have seen on certain substrates that we can go up to 30 home laundries. if that would be necessary. So also there, it's a bit customized based on the claims that our customer wants to make on the product.
Okay. Following up this question, some brands require moisture management and quick drying properties to go beyond 20 washes, some up to 60 washes. What percentage effect can be expected beyond 20 washes for these two properties?
Yeah, well, going back to the earlier answer, right? So this will largely depend on the substrate itself. Is it a very open structure, like a knit, allowing to evaporate? Then it's easier. If it's a very dense woven fabric, it's going to be more difficult. So the dosage plays a role. So all these elements work together to have the result. And so we work with the customer to customize the application and to make sure that we achieve the maximum results. I have to say that 60 sounds a bit, sounds like a challenge, but we're not afraid of challenges.
Exactly. And I think that's a great way to end this webinar. Thank you so much for everyone joining. Thank you very much, Philip and Pedro, for being a part and explaining how our newest technology, HeiQ Synbio Dry, works. If you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to us or myself. Or if you already have a representative of HeiQ that you are in contact with, feel free to reach out to them with further questions. If we haven't addressed any questions from the Q&A, we will reply to you via email afterwards, and you will receive a recording of this presentation as well to rewatch after and clarify any questions and share with the teams as well. So I think we're done. Thank you very much, both of you and everyone watching.
And
See you
thank you,
next
Rita.
time.
Thank you, Rita. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.